Some say memory fades with age, that forgetting names, misplacing keys, or losing your train of thought is just part of getting older. But what if that wasn't the full story? What if, instead of surrendering to decline, we could make small daily choices that protect our minds, helping us stay clear, focused, and independent, even after 60? In this episode of Elderly Reflections, we dive into that very question. Backed by science and rooted in the real experiences of seniors from across the US, Canada, and Europe, we'll uncover 7 simple habits that support mental sharpness in later life. These aren't abstract theories or impossible routines. They're everyday practices used by real people in real lives. You'll hear the voice of wisdom that only comes with time. Elderly wisdom that speaks softly but carries the weight of generations. These are not just health tips. They're reminders that the mind, like the body, can be nourished, protected, and even strengthened with the right care. So grab a warm cup of tea, settle in, and let's reflect. Because this journey isn't about age, it's about choosing presence over decline, awareness over fog, and growth over fear. And if these stories resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell icon, and join us for more episodes filled with senior health insights, inspiration, motivation, and timeless life lessons from as we grow older, we often focus on the body, its aches, stiffness, and need for movement. But what about the mind? Many seniors overlook the fact that mental health begins the moment we open our eyes. Research shows that the first hour of our day plays a powerful role in shaping how well we think, remember, and respond. So let's begin with one of the most overlooked yet effective habits for staying mentally sharp after 60. Starting your morning with a brain warm-up. Instead of rushing to the television or scrolling the news, imagine beginning the day with a quiet moment of journaling, reading, or simply reflecting. This isn't wishful thinking, it's supported by real data. A study from the University of Exeter observed that older adults who engaged in mental stimulation early in the day, such as word puzzles, reading, or writing, scored consistently higher in attention and memory tests than those who didn't. The brain, like any other muscle, needs time to wake up and stretch. Margaret Hayes, a 74-year-old retired schoolteacher from Ontario, experienced this firsthand. For years, her morning routine was automatic. Coffee, television, and an increasing sense of mental fog. She began forgetting names, missing appointments, and feeling mentally sluggish. At the suggestion of her daughter, she tried something different, just 10 minutes of journaling and reading out loud. At first, she recalled, I felt silly, talking to myself in an empty kitchen. But soon, she noticed a shift. She felt more present, more alert. I didn't dread going to the grocery store anymore because I could remember everything I needed. After 6 months, her doctor noted clear improvements in her cognitive screening. This shift didn't come from medication or supplements, but from giving her brain attention, gently and consistently each morning. Whether it's a favorite poem, a gratitude list, or a puzzle, the act of engaging the mind in the early hours creates a foundation of clarity. As we often say here at Elderly Reflections, mental clarity is a quiet power, and beginning the day with intention is one of the purest expressions of elderly wisdom. Now let's move to something equally powerful, but often misunderstood: the importance of learning something new, no matter how small, every day. After retirement, many seniors fall into repetitive routines. The comfort is understandable, but repetition without novelty can dull the mind. What the science tells us is this: the human brain is capable of learning and adapting well into our 80s and 90s. This is thanks to something called neuroplasticity, the brain's natural ability to form new neural pathways. But here's the catch: this only happens when we challenge it. That challenge doesn't need to be academic. It can be something simple and joyful. Learn a new word in a different language. Try a recipe you've never made. Take a different walking route. The act of encountering something unfamiliar, even if it seems trivial, keeps the mind flexible. Walter Green, 82, from Milwaukee, had no idea how much one cooking class would change his life. After losing his wife, Walter drifted into a routine of crosswords, television, and quiet afternoons. "I wasn't sick," he said, "but I felt like I was dimming." Then one morning, he spotted a flyer at the library. Intro to Italian Cooking for Seniors. He signed up on impulse. That first class was a mess. Burnt pasta, confused herbs, and a kitchen filled with laughter. But something deeper had awakened in him. "I remembered I could still learn," Walter said. "Still laugh, still be surprised." That one class led to many others. Beginner French, bird watching, even photography. Now Walter keeps a little notebook titled One New Thing, where he jots down something new he learns each day. His doctor reported that Walter's memory and cognitive function have remained steady, remarkably steady, for the past 3 years. His experience aligns with a growing body of research. A 10-year study by the National Institute on Aging found that seniors who regularly engaged in cognitive training retained greater independence, better decision-making, and lower risk of memory decline than their peers. Learning, it turns out, doesn't just keep the brain alive, it strengthens the entire framework of independent living. The beauty of this habit is its accessibility. You don't need a university degree or a classroom. All you need is curiosity. Watch a documentary, talk to someone from a different background, try drawing your own hands. The opportunities are endless, and each one is a small gift to your future self. As Walter put it so perfectly, "I thought my mind was slowing down. Turns out, it just needed something new to chew on." When we honor the idea that learning never ends, we step into one of the deepest truths of aging, that growth is not a young person's game. It belongs to the living, at every age. So tomorrow, after you've warmed up your mind, ask yourself, what's one thing I've never done before? Then go do it. Not for performance, not for praise, but for your brain and your future. As we continue our journey into the habits that keep our minds clear and our spirits grounded after the age of 60, it's time to dive even deeper. In part 1, we focused on starting each day with a gentle mental warm-up and feeding the mind with something new to learn. Now, we turn to 3 more habits, practical, heartfelt, and rooted in science, that work in harmony to protect our memory, improve our mood, and strengthen our connection to life. Each of these habits has the power to shift your experience of aging from one of slow decline to one of continued awakening. Let's begin. First, consider movement, not just in the form of formal exercise, but the simple, steady act of staying active throughout the day. While many seniors think of fitness in terms of walks, gym visits, or Tai Chi classes, the real power lies in breaking up long periods of stillness. Studies have shown that even light activity such as standing while reading, walking after meals, or stretching during TV commercials can significantly reduce the risk of cognitive decline. It's not about how hard you push your body, it's about how often you give it a reason to wake up. What's fascinating is that even non-exercise movement, gardening, cleaning, folding laundry, taking the stairs, has cognitive benefits. Light activity increases blood flow to the brain, promotes oxygen delivery, and supports the growth of new neural pathways. In one study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, seniors who moved for at least 10 minutes every waking hour had better memory recall and decision-making abilities than those who exercised for 30 minutes but sat for the rest of the day. The message is clear. Consistency matters more than intensity. Take the case of Nina Clark, a 68-year-old retiree from Seattle. After a minor fall left her housebound for a few weeks, she noticed her mind starting to fog. Her sleep became irregular, and small memory slips crept into daily life. Rather than wait for things to get worse, she set a small goal: to move for 2 minutes every hour. She walked around her kitchen, watered the plants on her porch, and did standing leg lifts while waiting for the kettle to boil. By the end of the 3rd week, her energy had returned. More importantly, her mental sharpness had improved. "I felt like someone had turned the lights back on in my head," she told her daughter. This is not coincidence, it's biology. When we move, we increase blood flow, stimulate brain regions tied to memory and planning, and release chemicals that lift mood. In time, Nina began to reframe her home as a movement space. She put resistance bands on her dining chair. She kept a yoga mat near her bed and used it every morning to stretch before breakfast. These small habits added up. Her doctor remarked during a routine checkup that Nina's reaction times had improved and she was scoring higher on cognitive speed tasks. Nina proved that one doesn't need a gym or even a long walk, just a willingness to let the body and brain reconnect throughout the day. The second habit is all about connection. Human beings are wired for companionship, and after 60, social isolation becomes one of the greatest threats to mental well-being. But here's the surprising truth. Engaging with others isn't just emotionally uplifting, it's physiologically protective. Frequent social interaction slows the shrinking of the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for memory. Meaningful conversations, shared meals, and even phone calls with old friends can reinforce neural pathways and protect against dementia. Loneliness, in contrast, can cause the brain to experience chronic stress, raising cortisol levels and making memory consolidation more difficult. A Harvard Health study published in 2021 highlighted that isolated seniors were nearly 60% more likely to develop cognitive impairments within a decade. This reinforces what many seniors already feel. The mind dims when it is not heard. Consider Ernest Bloom, 72, from London. After his wife moved into assisted living, Ernest felt adrift. His days were quiet, his home was silent, and his mood began to dip. At his daughter's urging, he began attending a local memory cafe, a weekly community event that combined games, music, and casual conversation. At first, he felt out of place. "I thought I had nothing to say," he recalled. But after a few visits, Ernest began to reconnect. He shared stories from his travels in Argentina, played chess with other attendees, and slowly felt a shift in himself. He smiled more. He remembered more. His doctor noted a marked improvement in his cognition after just a few months. Social connection had become his therapy. Inspired by his experience, Ernest took it a step further. He began hosting Saturday afternoon teas for neighbors. Nothing fancy, just tea, biscuits, and conversation. Over time, his circle grew. He built a small book club. He even mentored a local university student studying gerontology. Ernest, once isolated, had become a hub of connection in his building. "It saved my mind," he said plainly. "Not just my mood, my mind." The third habit involves shaping your environment to keep your senses stimulated. While many people assume brain health is all internal, the world around us plays a massive role in keeping us alert and engaged. Researchers have found that environments rich in sensory variety, colors, textures, sounds, and smells, help the brain stay agile. Something as simple as changing the layout of a room, introducing new scents with essential oils, or displaying fresh artwork can stimulate areas of the brain tied to recognition and attention. This is especially relevant for seniors who spend a large amount of time at home. A monotonous environment signals the brain that nothing new is happening, leading to dullness, disengagement, and even depression. By contrast, dynamic environments activate visual and spatial memory. Sensory novelty, touching a new fabric, seeing a fresh flower, hearing unfamiliar music, creates new connections in the brain's sensory cortex, stimulating curiosity and alertness. Maria Rossi, 75, from Rome, rediscovered her zest for life through her living space. A retired art teacher, she began hosting monthly art and story afternoons in her apartment. Each gathering featured a new theme. One month, friends brought objects from their childhood. Another month, they listened to and discussed Italian opera. Her home became a rotating gallery of life and memory. "I stopped feeling like I was waiting to die," she said. "Instead, I felt like I was inviting life in." Her story is a testament to how our environment can shape not only our mood, but our mental longevity. Inspired by her guests, Maria expanded the concept. She turned her hallway into a visual timeline of her life, photographs from each decade, a quote or poem pinned next to each. She invited her grandchildren to add drawings, creating a living, evolving gallery that bridged generations. When a neighbor fell into depression after losing her partner, Maria invited her to help paint a mural on one wall. Together, they chose vibrant reds, deep blues, and painted olive branches winding up toward the ceiling. The transformation wasn't just on the wall, it was in their minds. When taken together, these three habits, daily movement, meaningful social interaction, and sensory-rich environments, form a powerful foundation. They don't require radical change, they ask only for intention, a decision to move a little more, to reach out, to notice beauty. When practiced consistently, they create a rhythm that nourishes the brain, supports emotional health, and fosters the kind of life that feels worth living, vivid, connected, and full of elderly wisdom. These aren't just theories, they are lived experiences. And at Elderly Reflections, we believe the best insights don't come from textbooks, but from the lives of seniors themselves. They remind us that aging isn't an end. It's a deeper chapter of discovery. Let these habits be your guide into that next chapter. If you followed along this journey, by now you've seen how even the smallest daily choices, movement, connection, sensory enrichment, can breathe new life into the aging mind. But there are still two powerful habits we've yet to explore. They are quiet habits, deeply personal, and yet perhaps the most transformative of all. These final two practices offer not only cognitive resilience, but emotional grounding and peace. Let's begin with one that often gets overlooked: rest. The fourth habit is the consistent prioritization of quality sleep. For seniors over 60, sleep is no longer just about rest. It becomes a critical tool for memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and neuroprotection. Sleep is when the brain clears out toxins, processes the day's events, and stores long-term memories. And yet, sleep disturbances, like waking often at night or not reaching deep REM stages, are some of the most common complaints in older adults. Decades of research from institutions like the National Institute on Aging have shown that poor sleep is directly linked to cognitive decline and early signs of dementia. One major culprit? The brain's glymphatic system, which clears waste from neural tissues, only functions properly during deep sleep. When that process is interrupted, harmful proteins like beta amyloid can build up, accelerating memory loss. Beyond cognitive risks, lack of sleep is also associated with greater fall risk, slower wound healing, and emotional volatility, all critical concerns in elderly health. This brings us to the story of Harold Simmons, an 81-year-old retired railroad engineer from Pittsburgh. Harold had always been a light sleeper, but after his wife passed, his insomnia worsened. "I'd lie in bed for hours," he said. "Sometimes I couldn't tell if I had even slept at all." His energy dropped, his mood darkened, and he began having trouble remembering even short grocery lists. His daughter, a nurse, urged him to see a sleep specialist. Harold began practicing better sleep hygiene, turning off screens an hour before bed, using blackout curtains, sipping chamomile tea, and keeping a regular bedtime. Within weeks, he felt like a new man. His thinking sharpened. He stopped repeating himself. "It was like getting my mind back," he said. His story is not rare. It's a reflection of the restorative power of deep, consistent rest. What's more, Harold didn't stop there. He began incorporating a simple winding down ritual that included listening to nature sounds, writing a gratitude note before sleep, and placing lavender sachets near his pillow. He started leaving his phone in the kitchen at night and kept a physical book beside the bed. "My nights became sacred," he said, "like returning to myself." Over time, Harold not only regained memory stability, but also reduced his blood pressure and daytime fatigue. His doctors called it a complete turnaround. But good sleep doesn't come from pills or just lying still. It's cultivated. Dim lighting in the evening, warm baths, soothing music or white noise, avoiding caffeine late in the day. All these choices help signal to the brain, it's time to recover. In our modern, noisy world, these habits become a declaration of self-care and preservation. Studies have even shown that listening to guided meditations before sleep reduces anxiety and improves sleep efficiency in seniors. Rest becomes a ritual, not a routine. Finally, we come to the fifth habit, and in many ways, the most soul-nourishing, cultivating a sense of purpose. As work and family roles shift in later life, many seniors struggle to find what gives them meaning. Yet, a growing body of psychological and neurological research affirms that a clear sense of purpose isn't just good for the heart, it protects the brain. Dr. Patricia Boyle from the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center published a landmark study showing that seniors with high purpose scores were 2.4 times more likely to avoid Alzheimer's disease than those with lower scores. Purpose, it turns out, is protective. It engages the prefrontal cortex, builds emotional resilience, and strengthens long-term decision-making. Additional findings show that individuals with a strong purpose live longer, experience fewer strokes, and are more likely to maintain physical independence into their 80s and beyond. Let me tell you about Evelyn Wu, a 76-year-old former violinist from San Francisco. After retiring, Evelyn felt lost. "I played for 60 years, she said. Suddenly I had no stage, no students, no reason to wake up. For months, she battled depression. Then one day, a neighbor asked if she would give her son violin lessons. Evelyn agreed reluctantly, but something shifted in her after that first lesson. She began teaching again, this time in her living room, one student at a time. What began as a favor became a mission. Evelyn started offering free lessons to local children whose families couldn't afford music classes. "It gave me a reason to plan, to hope, to smile again," she said. Her sleep improved. Her appetite returned. Her memory became sharper. Her neurologist, who had been tracking her mild cognitive impairment, recorded measurable improvements. "Purpose brought me back to life," Evelyn said. And it continues to do so, week after week. Inspired by her newfound role, Evelyn began organizing small community recitals. She invited families, friends, and even local nursing homes. The joy on the children's faces and the gratitude from parents lit a fire in her. "I wasn't just teaching violin," she said. "I was passing on joy, discipline, and something that would outlast me." Evelyn even started mentoring other senior volunteers, helping them rediscover their own hidden talents. From cooking classes to storytelling hours, she became a hub of creativity and contribution. Her purpose had evolved, and so had she. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It can be gardening, mentoring, storytelling, spiritual practice, community volunteering, or even being the family memory keeper. When we know that someone, somewhere, depends on us or values our presence, our brains respond by staying engaged. Purpose is the anchor that keeps us steady, even in the winds of aging. In a world that often treats older adults as afterthoughts, reclaiming purpose becomes an act of quiet defiance and deep empowerment. Taken together, these final two habits, prioritizing restful sleep and nurturing purpose, offer the mind not just strength, but meaning. They complete the circle started in part 1. We begin each day with clarity, nourish it with novelty, enrich it through movement and connection, and end it with restoration and belonging. These habits are not just strategies. They're a way of honoring the journey of life, of continuing to live with intention, even when the world grows quieter around us. These are the reflections we carry into every new sunrise. And here, at Elderly Reflections, we hope you'll take them not just as advice, but as a new way of living. One marked not by fear of aging, but by reverence for its gifts. So tonight, rest well. And tomorrow, wake with purpose. These 7 habits, mental warm-ups, daily learning, movement, deep rest, and purposeful living, aren't just tools. They are signposts pointing us toward a life of independence, clarity, and dignity. Each habit alone has power. Together, they form a daily rhythm of strength. Here at Elderly Reflections, we share stories not just to inform, but to inspire. If you found value in this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps our small community grow and ensures more seniors like you get access to content rooted in elderly wisdom and real-life experiences. We'd love to hear from you. What part of the world are you watching from? Leave a comment below and share your own reflection or habit that keeps your mind sharp. Your voice could inspire someone else today.